Hello everyone, welcome along to a video here with a tutorial of the latest update of Tramp. Some very exciting news with regards to Tramp, and I'll get into that in a second. There's a few people I want to thank with regards to that. But I've had a lot of, people just wondering the best way to get around Tramp's interface. Now it's changed slightly. It's actually a lot easier. So for anyone who was worried about using FS Tramp, and especially the SIDS and stars, and wondering what waypoints you need and what waypoints you don't, it's been made a lot easier here by the Tramp developer, Helga. So there's been some interesting events in the past between our community and Helga, but we use this software primarily because it is one of the only ways that we can fly realistically, and probably the only way that we can fly on VATSIM. And for a long time we had to use the SimBrief plans with the SID and star waypoints included from SimBrief, because FS Tramp, when you would actually add a SID or a star, did not put all the waypoints in to your routing, which meant that if you were on VATSIM and you got given a direct, or if you were, say, on VATSIM, and especially in the US, they tell you to cross a waypoint at a specific altitude, this would not be possible. However, with the latest update, it is possible, and all these waypoints will appear. And I wanted to just show you what you can expect with these waypoints, and also how you would go about creating a plan and ensuring that it all lines up. So what I mean by that is making sure you have the right transitions in place. So we're on FS Tramp version 8.30. A couple of bugs have been fixed and this new feature has been added. Currently, FS Tramp 8.30 is downloadable from the site. However, the bugs that were fixed were sent to me privately in some DLL files, kindly by the Tramp developer, who's done some really good work on this. And so, it's really good that he's been working with me on this over the past few weeks. If you would like these files, as you are a blind user of FS Tramp and you would like to get these files to use FS Tramp 8.30, I'm happy to give them to you. It will be published on the site relatively soon, I believe, in a month or so maybe. He is, I think, working on other features, but for now I have the files, and they are on the BVI Discord, they are in the WhatsApp group, they're on my personal Dropbox, so if you would like the access and you are not on any of those groups, because I know there are some of you out there, some great people who aren't on the groups, and I fully understand that, especially with this community. It's an interesting one at times. Feel free to drop me a message and I can get that to you, and we can get it sorted out. So without further ado, let's get into the sim. We're just down on the ground here in the default 737. It really doesn't matter what aircraft we're in. I'm only here to show you FS Tramp. We're on the ground at Edinburgh in the UK, in Scotland specifically, and we're going to plan a flight to Heathrow. I have a plan that I have from SimBrief, but the important thing here is I just want to show you what happens when you associate SID stars and approaches, and how to make sure that they line up. And then this will put you in very good stead to do a full plan. So we'll launch FS Tramp. It's the same kind of interface in general. Obviously you'll have done your SimBrief planning, you'll have got your briefing package, and you will be able to see your route with your runways, SID stars, etc. So let's scroll up, of course, to plan. We're using screen review NVDA. We're going to go to plan, and then we're going to left click. Obviously rooted my mouse there. I'm going to hit open here. And then we're going to find, you see, I've got a lot of plans, I need to clear these out. Got to find the right one. So do excuse me whilst I do this. Here we are. Okay, so this was created on the 12th of June, but it really doesn't matter because I just want to show you the Okay, so we don't care about that one. We'll just say don't show again. Hit OK. Okay, so the plan has been loaded in, and what we're going to do is, of course, go to our routing tree view, and you'll see you automatically start to see here before you even get to your routing tree view, because we're using screen review. It's pulled up the SIDS tab, so you can see GOSO 1D, that's a departure, and you can also see a waypoint in the routing. So I usually just push it straight to the departures tab here, left click, and we'll jump in. So I don't really care what departure we associate. Obviously you would have SimBrief, so you would be able to check it, but this is just for demonstration purposes. You heard when we clicked in there it said no SID associated, which is a little thing that he added a while back actually to help us out. So it means when you tab in to the SIDS or stars tab, if you have associated one or if you have not yet, it will tell you immediately. There you go, it said no SID associated. Let's associate the GOSO 1C. And a little tip for everyone here who has not used Tramp: if you go to context menu, I would uncheck sorting by ETP, because what it does, I find, is it shows the SID, stars and approaches, and you have to do that in each tab in a much easier way. So you can see you've got all the departures here: GOSO 1C, GOSO 1D, Delta obviously, air, blah blah blah. So we'll go to 1C and then we can expand this, and you see GOSO 1 Charlie 24 for runway 24. So we're going to associate, and that is really good. And we can tab here and look at the SID, and this is important to look over before you go on VATSIM. So climb to 2300 and direct to, I don't even know what that said, but a waypoint, which we'll find in the tree view in a second. So you see we've got several restrictions there. The SID stops at 6,000, which is probably your final cleared altitude on this SID. So that's our SID associated. That's all you got to do. So now we'll go back here. We'll put ourselves back on the plan tab to reset it to tree view, and we can see at the right at the top here EGPH route R24. Now of course this is the new thing. If we arrow down, so there's the waypoint, and it says route SID because it's the first waypoint on our SID. And yeah, so that's really useful. If we keep going down, you see an EOC, which means end of climb. It should really say top of climb, but okay. And that's at 6,000 because that was the last point on this SID. Okay, go down again. That was the last alt on this SID. Another waypoint, Mavics, Gotham. So probably what they would do here, now you'll see what SimBrief does here is it always puts the last waypoint of the procedure in for you. It's got Gotham, so you'll see here, the very last waypoint on the SID we've got Gotham, route SID, that's Tramp's waypoint. If we arrow down again, you've also got Gotham route D greater, which means direct. That's SimBriefs. You don't, it doesn't really matter for the SID, but I always recommend just hit and delete on SimBrief. You don't need it, it's kind of pointless. So Gotham is probably what they would send you direct to. If they wanted you to get off the star, they'd probably just send you direct to the SID. If they wanted you to get off the SID, they might send you direct to Gotham, for example, or maybe you know, one of these here like Mavics. And what you can do is, of course, context menu and go fly flight plan from here to go direct. You can also go plan point settings and especially set altitude and speed, where you can change the assigned altitude and speed. Do note that you cannot delete waypoints here that are in this procedure or any procedure that tramp puts into your main tree view, because you can't modify procedures. However, there's no need to delete. I wouldn't see any situation where you would need to delete them, because you need all these points here and you can easily go direct, so no need to delete. Okay, so beautiful. We have our sit-in. So we're going to go down to the bottom here, right down to Heathrow. So EGLL. Obviously, we haven't associated anything with it yet. If we arrow up, there's a Nugra waypoint, and I'll show you why this is important, because it's the start of a star here that SimBrief's added in. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go back down to Heathrow, and we'll Control Tab, go to our, no star associated, and we are going to go on the, so again, we've got, look, sorting by ETP in the context menu, so these are sorted nicely. We're going to go for this one right here, BNN1B, so Bovingdon 1 Bravo into Heathrow is what they would probably give. If we expand this, we can see we have one for 09 left, 09 right, 27 left, 27 right. We're going to associate the one for 09 and right. Absolutely. And then we're going to go and tab and have a little look at this right here. So, cross Nugra. Now that should sound familiar. SimBrief actually added Nugra in for us. So what we'll do when we go back to our routing tree view is delete Nugra. We don't need 2. So 20,000 at Tobard, 15,000 at Sorred, then there, and Bovingdon. Okay, so Bovingdon or BNN is our last waypoint on the star. And what we'll do while we're here, right, is we'll go and associate our approach as well. So this is where you're going to get to see a transition, which I know a few people were a little bit confused about what a transition is. So if we go back to our star tab and then Control Tab, get to our approaches. So we're going to want ILS here, alright? So we've got 28 items, and here we go, look, I'll show you, ETP again. So we'll go to our ILS. So ILS 09 left, big.ILS. So every time you hear a waypoint name, then .ILS or .RNV, whatever the approach is, that is a transition. That is a transition onto the approach. So we got big here, just chumming back up to the top there. Bovingdon.ILS 09 left, that's the Bovingdon transition. We'll keep going down, because remember we are going for 09 right. ILS 09 right. Big transition for that, and then BNN, so Bovingdon transition. So we're going to be taking Bovingdon 1 Bravo arrival with the Bovingdon transition onto runway 09 right, and of course it throws me back up to the top because I didn't touch it for long enough. I guess it has a time on that. It's quite irritating. Oh well, it's fine. So we'll associate this, the Bovingdon transition ILS 09 right, and then we'll go take a look again. We'll tab and look at our description, and you'll see here how these link. So this is the star again. Direct to BNN. Then it goes on to the approach. 7,000 cross BNN at 220 knots. You see that links. You're going from Bovingdon on the star, the end of the star, right onto it on your approach. Then you got all this. Which is your points on the approach. SimBrief, sorry, not SimBrief, Tramp probably doesn't have all these waypoints in the main routing tree view. It usually just gives you the main approach fix, which is good. So let's go take a look now what we've got in our routing tree view here. Let me go, so we'll go right to the top of the star. I want to show you it properly and what this all means. So we're going to go up, 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 up. we're going to go right to the Nugra waypoint, which was the, yeah, let's keep going up. Here we go. So, you'll see, there's BOD, the initial BOD, which is at 35k, so that is going to be your initial top of descent. So there's TOBID. Remember, TOBID was 20,000. Actually, I think if we go up again, yeah, so you'll see the initial waypoint was Nugra, right? So you're going to have two Nugras. Yeah, Nugra route star, and then you go up again, you're going to have Nugra from SimBrief. So it's not the end of the world if you don't delete the SimBrief one, but it's kind of, it just helps you out. We'll just get rid of Nugra, we don't need it. So we just have the star one. There we go, okay. And it's moving back to the bottom. Nice. Don't know why that happened. So we'll go up again. I want to show you the whole star. Keep going up. Keep going up. More, more, more. Yeah. Come on. We'll keep going up here. Okay. Okay. So. There's BOD again. So we've gone Nugra, we've gone past BOD. You had TOBID there at 20,000. Okay, so there's TOBID. Go down again. Another BOD. So you're going to see BODs basically. So you remember how it said TOBID, you had to be at 20,000. It probably levels at 20,000 for a little bit and then it's going to continue descending. So you'll see another BOD and that's the point where it's going to continue its descent. I'll go down again. There's another SOPID waypoint, a slightly different sounding similar. You'll see again, look here's SOPID, 15,000 and then yeah, there you go. And then you got another BOD right below it. So we've gone now down to 15,000. Go down again. Another waypoint. That one doesn't have a restriction. There's Bovingdon there. Okay, so then you see it goes to 7,000. It's leveled at 7,000. This is on the approach. So Bovingdon is the last point on the star, right there. And then you'll see route APPR. So that's the first waypoint on the approach that it's giving us. Continue going down. We got another BOD, which is a descent from 7,000 restriction. Go down again. Another one. So actually it did put some of the approach ones in. Yeah. I haven't figured out why it always, it sometimes doesn't. It's mainly in the US where it doesn't. You see there CY09 right. That's probably where you're going to get the ILS. Got a BOD descending from 3,000. 3,000 is usually a good intercept altitude, so I bet you that's where it's going to pick it up right there. And then we go down again. You've got FF09R, I don't know. Maybe one is the localizer, one is the glide slope. Or they're both just approach waypoints, but that's fine. You got another BOD, so you're descending from 2,500 and then down to Heathrow at 09 right. And of course on all of those you can do the flight plan and you can do the set altitude and speed. So that's an example of how you do it. We've deleted the SimBrief waypoints. There's only 2 of them. We have made sure we got the correct SID and star. We've made sure that the approach has the right transition off the end of the star. And sometimes you'll get a transition onto the star as well from your main route. And the way you'll find that, of course, is looking at the last waypoint in your actual routing before the star. In this case, we have just a straight star with no transition, and then a transition from the star onto the approach. So that's how you make the flight plan. really, with the new tramp, and there's not really much more that I need to say. It's, other than that, relatively similar. The tramp developers fixed a few bugs, as like I say, the altitude issues that were in previous versions are gone. FS Tramp 8.30 seems more stable in the way that it flies. So it's a really good update and very helpful for VATSIM. So I hope that's cleared a few things up. If you have already flown, that will probably make more sense to you than if you haven't, in which case a lot of the terminology won't make any sense and you'll probably need to go and read up on all this stuff. But I hope that helps a few BVI pilots with how to get around tramp with the new procedures. So as you'll see, you've got the root SID, root star, and root APPR in the tree view, and you will see quite a few BODs, which is where it's leveled out and then begins descent again after a restriction. So I hope that made sense, and I hope you enjoyed looking at the new tramp preview. Again, thanks to the tramp developer for making this happen and for working with me and a few others, on this. I know this was something that the community had wanted for many months, and people had tried to make contact and get this move forward, and then suddenly it all happened at once. So really happy about that. So I hope you enjoyed this. Keep your eyes peeled. We're going to have a few more tutorials coming. We're going to get one out on Project Fly version 4 relatively soon as a few bugs have been fixed, because I want it to be the same version for me and the public. So we will wait till that happens. I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you all in the next video. Thank you.